Putting a meal on the table is an important part of many families' holiday traditions, but it's not always an easy task, and it's especially challenging this year. Brianna Pitt spoke with the Greater Boston Food Bank CEO, Catherine D'Amato, about the need they're experiencing and how people can help.
The pandemic has upended a lot of people's livelihoods. A record number of Americans are out of work. So what is the need like during a normal holiday season? And then how much more intense is that need this year?
Well, we've now had to couple Thanksgiving with a pandemic. And we're seeing a 66% increase in food insecurity since we looked at these numbers previously. This has all to do with a public health crisis, the fact that there's significant still unemployment and the business closures. And so pantries are seeing, over 50% new people at their pantries coming in to seek food. And as you can imagine, these emergency pantries have also had to change their models in order to stay safe, keep distance. So a lot of drive-throughs or grab and goes. But this Thanksgiving has already proven to be historic. We'll be giving out over 200,000 turkeys and gift cards and complete meals to people, and it's a very busy time, and we just hope that this box of food, this fresh Thanksgiving meal, just helps these families feel a little bit better right now.
Catherine, you touched on this a little bit, but what other initiatives are underway at the food bank to help, and has the pandemic complicated those efforts? You talked about doing the drive-through and curbside pickup of food as an example.
Sure. Well, we're seeing such an increased volume. I mean, in Massachusetts, we've gone from 1 in 13 people to 1 in 8, and that's moving towards 1 in 7. And for children, it's 1 in 5. And we serve a network of over 550 agencies throughout eastern Massachusetts. So that's 190 cities and towns. And the models are all very different. And they have been impacted by COVID, meaning they aren't seeing the same number of volunteers, coupled with a high increase in demand. What we're seeing is that pushing out more and more food. So some of the things that are different is we're purchasing, we used to purchase $60,000 worth of food a month. Now it's over $2 million worth of food a month. And in such, we're also making sure that we have the right labor force and the right essential workers, because this volume increases your warehouse input-output, and then also the burden of responsibility on these agencies. So models are different, the safety protocols are different, and we need to stay very vigilant with those. We're seeing a lot more door-to-door delivery, or where people pre-order or come in and fill out a form and then a box is filled for them. And then lastly, we are doing a lot more pre-boxing, putting things together for these pantries at our warehouse so that it's easier for them to add the turkey or the produce right at the end and hand it out. So anything we can do to help make the lift better for these pantries is our job, because in the end, we want to get that food to the people who need it, and we want to do that safely and in the fastest way.
Catherine, there's a lot of focus on giving around the holidays every year, especially this year. But the families that you serve are actually in need year-round. It's not just
Correct.
Around the holidays.
No, I mean, Thanksgiving, always was a heightened time and our busiest time. And the pandemic has essentially left that months and months ago. Our busiest months started to climb in April, May, June, and have continued to break records. So people can help. The Greater Boston Food Bank believes that you can do 3 things. You can donate, you can advocate, and you can volunteer. And the donate is very easy. Just for $25 during our holiday meal drive, you can feed a family. And that goes a long way. That puts all the food into that family's household that they might need for several days. You can also advocate for public policies and changes. And lastly, volunteering. Volunteers have dropped dramatically, and all for the right reasons. So it's very important that you can pass the protocols and that you feel safe going to a local food pantry or a regional food bank.
Now, if you'd like to make a donation, volunteer your time, or if you are in need of food assistance this holiday season, visit gbfb.org.